5 Halloween urban legends so terrifying you won't want to be alone this October 31st. Halloween has always been tied to the supernatural. Way back, over 2,000 years ago, the Celtic people celebrated Samhain, a festival marking the end of the harvest season. They believed that on October 31st, the veil between the living and the dead became the thinnest, allowing spirits to wander the world of the living. So they wore costumes and lit bonfires, trying to protect themselves from the supernatural. Fast forward to today, and the U.S. is packed with creepy urban legends that seem to spike around Halloween. Stories so chilling, they've become the backbone of the holiday's haunted reputation. Let's start in Virginia, home to the Bunny Man. This urban legend goes back at least 50 years and tells the tale of a killer, or perhaps a ghost, dressed in a rabbit costume, terrorizing anyone who dared hang out under the Fairfax Station Bridge. Some versions claim he escaped from a mental institution and hung skinned rabbits on the bridge as a warning. Other versions say he attacked teens and left them in the same condition as the rabbits. And in some tellings, he was an escaped convict wearing a bunny suit while hunting his victims. What's really wild is that this story is partially based on actual events. Back in 1918, 14-year-old Eva Roy was found tied to a tree near Burke, Virginia, strangled to death. The killer was never found, though an escaped convict falsely confessed. Then, in 1970, a man dressed in a bunny suit terrorized the town of Burke. One incident had him throwing a hatchet through a car window just after midnight on October 18th. Luckily, nobody was hurt. Weeks later, he vandalized an unoccupied house and even threatened a security guard. The police recovered a hatchet, but the Bunny Man was never identified. Heading south to Louisiana, we find the Devil's Toy Box, a newer urban legend that's become infamous online. Louisiana is no stranger to scary stories, from the Rougarou, a werewolf-like creature roaming the bayous, to the legendary voodoo queen Marie Laveau. The state is steeped in supernatural tales, but the Devil's Toy Box, that's a modern nightmare. According to the legend, it was a Halloween attraction, a small mirror-lined shack that would drive anyone who entered completely insane. Some say Satan himself appeared inside, stealing your soul, or worse, flaying victims alive. The legend likely started in 2015 with a horror story by Joel Farrelly on Thought Catalog, but the story has lived online ever since, growing with every retelling. There is actually a device called a Devil's Toy Box, a 6-sided mirrored box used by paranormal researchers, but in this legend, the terror is real. The mirrors reflect your soul and show you something beyond understanding. Now we move to Idaho and the chilling tale of the Halloween Massacre. This legend supposedly took place in 1962 in a small town. A group of masked teens gathered at a girl's house while her father was out of town. One guest, wearing a homemade black hooded mask with a creepy grin, allegedly locked everyone inside and murdered 7 of them before vanishing into the night. The FBI supposedly recovered the mask, but the killer was never caught. Of course, this legend is largely internet-driven, born from a photograph of a group of teens in homemade masks. One person in the photo wearing a black hooded mask became the killer in memes shared on Facebook and other platforms. According to Snopes, no murders like this actually occurred in Idaho or anywhere else in 1962. Still, the legend thrives, especially around Halloween. Heading back to the past, Tennessee holds one of America's oldest urban legends, the Bell Witch. In 1817, farmer John Bell Sr. and his family lived near present-day Adams, Tennessee. Strange occurrences began. Odd animals, like a dog with a rabbit head and a giant bird, appeared on the farm. Soon after, the hauntings escalated. The Bell family heard strange noises, voices, and even suffered physical attacks. The spirit eventually began speaking directly to the family, often cursing John and his daughter Betsy, who it seemed particularly hate. By December 1820, John Bell Sr. died under mysterious circumstances attributed to the entity. Even General Andrew Jackson, later president, investigated the haunting and was reportedly left deeply shaken. In the 1970s, the story intertwined with the Halloween ritual of Bloody Mary. Southern kids would try to summon the Bell Witch by repeating the words, "I don't believe in the Bell Witch," 3 times in a mirror with a candle. Today, the Bell Witch Cave remains on the old Bell family farm, drawing visitors and keeping the legend alive. Finally, we visit Nebraska, home of the Grim Hatchet House legend. In Papillion, there's a one-room schoolhouse tied to stories dating back at least to the 1970s. The tale goes that a schoolteacher, Holly Hatchet, snapped in the early 1900s, murdered all her students with an axe, and removed their hearts. Some versions add that she also decapitated the children and placed the heads on their desks before dumping the organs into South Papillion Creek. As the story spread, the schoolhouse became known as the Hatchet House, and a nearby bridge became Heartbeat Bridge. Local kids would sneak onto the property on Halloween to search for Holly Hatchet's ghost. People even claimed they could hear the beating of the dead children's hearts or see her apparition wandering near the scene. Before the schoolhouse was moved in the 1990s, these Halloween pilgrimages were a rite of passage for brave or foolish kids. All of these legends made it onto our list because they're Halloween-related, either occurring on the holiday or directly tied to it. The Bunny Man terrorized Virginia teens on October 18th. The Halloween Massacre allegedly took place on October 31st, and Louisiana's Devil's Toy Box and Tennessee's Bell Witch inspired Halloween rituals. Kids even tried to summon the Bell Witch or sneak into the Hatchet House on Halloween. From the Bunny Man in Virginia to the Devil's Toy Box in Louisiana, Idaho's Halloween Massacre, Tennessee's Bell Witch, and Nebraska's Hatchet House, these legends remind us that Halloween isn't just about candy and costumes. It's about the thin veil between the living and the dead, the stories that chill our bones, and the fear that lingers long after the candles blow out. Which of these urban legends freaked you out the most? Let me know in the comments. Smash that like button if you're brave enough, and don't forget to subscribe for more strange, unbelievable, real-life mysteries. Strange, but real. RealLifeMyst.